Hey gang. Today I'm going to do something that's a little bit different from what I've done in the past. I'm calling the concept jam session. Here's the idea. The idea is to prepare you and me, okay, for a night of going to jam with my buddies or to go to a bar on jam night and to be able to get up on stage and play with confidence different tunes. So today we're going to apply this to the Doobie Brothers' Long Train Runnin'. Great jam tune. Um, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you two different rhythms. One will be the riff itself, that part. But then also, what if already somebody's up there and they're already playing that on an acoustic or an electric? And what are you going to do then? Are you going to do something else? Well, I'll give you an option for some other thing that you can do during that as well. So two different rhythm approaches and then two different lead approaches as well. One that's more bluesy and a little bit slower, and one that's much more up-tempo and kind of uses the inherent chugga-chugga and the rhythm in the song. So it's definitely up-tempo. Now, the tab for this will be a little bit different too. I'll provide the voicings and I'll provide the tab for the scales or the areas that I'm playing the solo, but not the note for note. That would kind of defeat the purpose of this, which is really to give you confidence that you don't need to know things note for note to be able to go up and jam. All right? Anyway, that's the concept. So I have an ask for all of you. If you're still with me, if you could leave a comment for whether you like this or not. If you like it, great. Then you can also tell me what songs would be good for this, like obviously some Stones like Honky Tonk Woman or maybe Jumpin' Jack Flash, but who else? And what other songs would be great for jam night? All right, so that's it. As always, if you like this, go ahead and press the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe for one or a couple of these every week. We'll see you in just a second. All right, gang, first things first, you can download the tab. It's going to have the voicings and the scale patterns that I'm using to play over in the leads. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and download that, and then we'll get started. We're going to first start out with the basic riff to the song. Okay, well, there you go, basic riff to the song. This is a song that's in G minor, and the main part of it features this riff that's around a G minor 7th chord. All right, so that G minor 7th is, we've got the root on the 5th string, 10th, and then we've got on 5, 4, 3, 2, we've got 10, 12, 10, and 11. Okay, and then we play, we're just going to lift that up and really focus on the 4, 3, and 2 strings and play from, on those 4, 3, and 2, we're doing 12, 10, and 11, and then pulling off to 10, 10, 10, and then hammering back on. All right, and it's also got this real rhythmic part to it. A lot of Tom Johnston's songs had that rhythmic component. In this case, it's kind of like this. All right, so that's over that G minor 7th. We're playing that. Then it goes to a C minor 7th. And we're playing an extra note up here on the 2nd string, 11th fret, which is a nice reminder of the previous chord. So other than that, it's really just a C minor 7th, okay? So the root is on the 6th string, 8th fret, and it's spelled, let's see, 8, from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, it's 8, 10, 8, 8, and 11. Okay, and then you're going to bring this top voice down from 11 to 10. And you're back to your... All right, and then the last part is this. And back to this. So what is that we're doing there? Well, this is a like an E flat 7th, but I'm only playing 6, 5, and 3 strings, okay? I'm not playing the 4th. I'm muting that. So I guess this is really just an E flat major. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm moving on the bottom string from the 11th to the 10th fret, and that makes it basically a G minor chord. And then pulling down the top 2 parts of the voice to make a D chord, basically a D7. So it goes like this: E7, E flat 7. Okay, then move down the bass note, right? And then we're back to our G minor 7. All right, now over that little transition, there's lots of things that you can do with it that are fun. You can, let's just focus on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. You could play an E flat triad. That's spelled 13, 12, 11 on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. Okay, and then play a G minor triad. That sounds really good, right? And then back to this. So that's E flat, G minor, 12, 12, and 11, and then D, 12, 11, 10, and then back to your... All right, so you can do all of that stuff. Sounds great. Let's see, what else can you do? There's one other thing that sounds, I think, fabulous, and that is to play an augmented chord. And so you can play that too as well, like this right here. It sounds... That just sounds a little bit freaky, right? Makes that resolving sound even better, or even stronger. So that's just 12, 11, 11. Again, all this is on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. So that's it. Have a ball with that. And if you're the only guitar player, you can go ahead and play that ad infinitum. Really cool, right? Just G minor to the C minor 7th. E flat, G minor, D, and back to your G minor 7th. All right, and that's that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this one now. We're obviously playing in a different part of the neck, which is good. If somebody else is playing in a higher part, it's nice to play in a lower part. Okay, so that's just one thing to keep in mind, mixing it up a little bit. Now, we're using triads, and basically what I'm doing is I'm playing... So just as the upper one went from G minor 7th to F, we're going to play a G minor triad right here. So this is root on the fifth string, fourth string, fifth fret, and then we've got 3/3 on two, and the 3 and 2 strings respectively. Okay, and then we're coming up to this. This is a little F major triad, spelled again on 4, 3, and 2. We're going to play 7, 5, and 6. Okay, so then for the C minor, we're just going to play a standard sort of C minor 7th right here. And we're going to add a top voice. So this is a standard C minor, the root on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Again, spelled 5, 7, 5, 6. But I'm adding a top voice on the 1st string, which is very similar to this minor 7th before, and going to a 6th. Okay, so this is on the 6th fret. Okay, going to the 5th fret. Okay, and then we can come back to our G minor. Okay, and now the transition. We've got an E flat. I'm just playing an E flat triad right here. All right, so that is on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. We've got 5, 3, and 4. Okay, now we can play a G minor, and it sounds great. That sounds just fine. Okay, and that's just a G minor triad followed by a D triad. Okay, so the G minor is, again, all of this is on a 4, 3, and 2 strings. We've got 5, 3, 3, and then, excuse me, 4, 2, 3. And then we're back to this. And you can add in that augmented in the same way. That's fine too. If you want to play that instead of the G minor triad, that sounds fantastic. All right, that's the second alternative rhythm. Okay, the first solo I took on this one is a very bluesy approach, very standard approach, using primarily a G minor pentatonic in the standard blues box position. So pretty laid back, using some pretty standard blues licks. Something like this. Right? So, you know, our pattern is pretty much the standard blues box, but we're also going to extend it, and you probably know that trick, to slide up on the 3rd string, 2 frets. All right, so all of that's pretty standard, and when it shifts to the C minor, we're playing back to the G. So that's all pretty standard blues. Take a laid-back approach to it. It works pretty well. This is a song that lends itself pretty well to the blues. I will say that the one thing you've got to watch yourself on a little bit is on the So you can get away with just playing the standard. You can get away with just playing the standard blues scale or the G minor pentatonic all the way on this song. It works really well. However, you don't have to do this, but it makes it sound like you really know that you're playing with the rest of the band, and that is when it goes to that chord that's out, which is that D major, right? You hit the 3rd of the D. the third of a D is an F sharp. So that's what I'm doing right here. So when I play that line, that's over my E flat. When I play that D, I'm playing whatever pattern I played before. I'm aiming for the third of the D chord right there, which is an F sharp. And then it resolves itself by just one above it. I'm really just playing this line, but filling it in with other. And that's it. And at the end, I'm just aiming for the third of the G, going up the minor scale, the G minor scale. I'm bending to it instead of playing it directly. The third of the G minor is that D there, right there. All right, so, I mean, it's a laid-back approach. There's nothing really special about it, but I'm trying to be pretty mindful of hitting some of the real key chord tones on a transition especially. All right, and ending on a good note, which is the third. You can't go wrong aiming for the third of a chord or the root. Those are always really strong resolutions. All right, that's it for the first solo. Okay, in this lead I let loose a little bit. It's clearly a lot faster, and it really focuses on that train rhythm. That one right there. And a lot of this solo really gets by. I'm playing that and landing on a note that makes sense at the end. Playing a lot of nonsense notes in between. If you focus too much on that, a lot of the individual notes, you might say, hey, you can't play that, but you can. All right, well, let me show you at least the two main patterns that I'm playing over, nominally anyway. One is based on this G minor 7th chord. Okay. So it's a G minor scale where the root is on the 10th fret of the 5th string. So it goes like this. Extend one to get that 2-octave scale, okay? Coming down. So that's the scale itself. And I'm really just trying to play largely in that scale, land on notes of chords that make sense, right? On the G minor, I'm going to land on notes like this, and this, and this. Right? Or this. Those are just notes I'm going to land on. On a C minor, I'm going to land on notes like this. Right? And so forth. And on the D, that's a key one right there over that transition again. I'm going to hit this note. I learned that from Herb Ellis. When you're playing the blues and you have an oddball chord, hit the third of that chord. Just like we did on the first bluesier solo, if we play that note, it's going to stick out and it's going to be over that D chord. It's going to stick out for people and it's going to sound like you're really playing with the band, no matter what other stuff you throw out. All right? So, I think that's about it for the solo. The other pattern I guess I would use is I'm using the same G minor pentatonic, but I'm using it an octave up right here at the 15th. There's a phrase where I do this. Or something like that. I just remember kind of going up. All right, so what do I want to say about this? There's two things I want to say about it other than that, the rhythms there. I start out with something like this. All right? And then after that, I play a lot of notes, but I'm playing them in the rhythm, and I'm just trying to land at the end. So something that I've enjoyed doing as a player for a long time is I take a certain pattern and I play the outline of it. I feel I can play chromatically anywhere in that pattern. So for example, anywhere in the boundaries of that pattern. So for example, the pattern that I just showed you over this minor would be, right? So on the 5th string, it goes between the 10th fret and the 13th fret. On the 4th string, it goes between the 10th and the 12th. 10th and 12th. 10th and 13th. 10th and 13th. So I can play any of those notes in between I want. I can play. Now it gets monotonous if I just do that, if I just kind of run up and down the scale, but I can get away with it for a little while as long as I land on a decent note. So when I played something like this, right, I'm landing on that G. A root or a third of a chord is always almost always a great place to land up and give people a really good feeling of resolution. So you can do that. All right, so that's what I'm doing. A lot of that solo is just kind of playing chromatically within that. There's one other trick that I used, and that was this. I felt that the Steve Howe I was influenced a lot when I was younger by Steve Howe, and he used to have this trick where he'd play twice on a string, pick it twice, and then pull off. That kind of thing. And so I'm playing that a little bit as well when I'm transitioning up to this to the 15th. Of course, at the end, I'm just kind of again, I'm aiming for the D because I know the D is the third of a G minor chord, and so I'm gonna try and hit that, right? Just like I hit the D at the end of the first solo. All right, and that's it. All right, gang, there you have it. 2 rhythm approaches, 2 lead approaches for Long Train Runnin' by the Doobie Brothers. I really hope you like this lesson, and we will see you on down the road.